Without a doubt, the number one question that I get asked most often from beginner singers is, how do I go about finding my unique voice?
Run, run, lost boy, they say to me.
Now, while this is one of the most common questions that I get asked, it actually comes with a lot of undertones underneath it that could potentially be misconstrued in many different ways. So it requires a little bit more refining to really hear exactly what the specific question is. But on the surface, we'll go through a couple of different meanings that could be under the idea of how do I find my unique voice. Number one, and probably the most obvious, is these people are not wanting to sound like singer X or singer Y or singer C. They want to sound like them. And they're confused because they're learning how to sing. They're trying to figure out, how do they go about learning how to sing from all these singers or vocal coaches or whatever it might be without actually mimicking or sounding like those people? Isn't that just going to end up sounding like a copy of them and not actually finding their own unique voice? If you want to sing with more confidence and power, then you have to sign up for my lesson subscription. You get 2 group lessons with me personally every single week. You get access to all my courses, and you get access to recordings of all my one-on-one lessons with my students. That will help you learn vicariously through them. Click the link down below to sign up now. So let's tackle that question first. If your issue is that you want to find your unique voice and not sound like anybody else, it's not something that is directly achievable. It's something that's only achievable through working with many different singers and many different sounds. What do I mean by this? Let's take you as a child. As a child, we all learn to speak not by reading a textbook, not by finding and experimenting with our own voice. We actually learn by mimicking. This is very true also when learning to sing. We need to learn to a certain degree based on what we hear and mimicking those sounds as closely as possible. Now, the answer to the question of whether you'll find your own unique voice doesn't actually lie in whether you imitate people or not, but actually in how many people you end up imitating. So if I only imitate one singer, then I'm going to end up sounding very much like that one singer. For example, when I was learning how to sing, I modeled my voice after Anthony Kiedis of the Red Hot Chili Peppers. And so I would all the time only listen to the Red Hot Chili Peppers and obsessively analyze his voice. And when I performed live, a lot of people came up to me at the end and they said, "Wow, you sound so much like Anthony Kiedis from the Red Hot Chili Peppers." And to me, that was like the hugest compliment because I loved the Red Hot Chili Peppers. But then as time went on and I started to grow as a singer, I realized what I was doing was pigeonholing myself to, number one, our band to sound like the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and number two, that my voice would always be a replica of just Anthony Kiedis. I would never actually get my own unique sound because the world already has an Anthony Kiedis. They don't need Adam Mishan sounding like Anthony Kiedis. So what I started to do was listen to more artists. And when I listened to more artists, I started to try to mimic what they were doing. And when I did that, I noticed that my tone started to change. And when I performed live, I wasn't getting that sort of comment at all anymore. And people were at first saying that it wasn't all that good. But then as time went on and I started to get better and better and better, people started to say, "Wow, you just sound so great." Like they wouldn't compare me to anybody else. And it's not because I didn't learn singing by imitating. There was a big component of that. I imitated Freddie Mercury. I imitated James Maynard Keenan. I imitated Israeli singers. I imitated all different types of singers that I just heard around. And I would pick up all the little elements that I would hear in their voice. And I was able to broaden my scope. You know, I learned from Jungkook. I learned from V. I learned from all these different singers. And by broadening my horizon and different tastes in music as well, so not just sticking with funk rock and that's the only thing that I listen to, or just pop or just jazz, you broaden your horizons. By doing that, you actually really start to gain an idea of what your voice sounds like and not just you mimicking singer X. Now, the second iteration of this question that I've received from students is, how can I know what my unique sound is within what I'm able to do? So I can sound like this. I can sound like this, or 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 I can sound like this, and there's so many different sounds that our voices are able to reproduce and potentially mimic and sound like. How do I know that I am sounding like me and what my unique sound is? This is a very good question. And it's something that actually takes a little bit of introspection to be able to really find the answer to. So what we need to do is first analyze, what is the sound that I'm creating that feels the easiest? Usually this is going to be your home base.
So if I do this type of sound, it doesn't feel the easiest to make because what I'm doing is I'm tensing this muscle right here and it feels really tight in my throat.
And then if I really want to talk like this kind of sounds like, number one, weird, and number two, it feels really tight.
And then this one kind of feels overly open and I'm not quite able to get a sound that carries easily.
And so with analyzing those sounds, no one of those sounds is going to be your unique sound because each one of those is an extreme of your home base. So we got to first establish, what is your home base? What is the easiest sound you can produce? So really just experimenting with different sounds. Ah, ah,
Oh,
ah, oh. Create those different sounds. See what of those is the easiest for me and my voice to make. Chances are the easiest sound for you to make is your home base, is your unique vocal sound. Now, does that mean that you can't adjust as you sing to be able to shape it into different sounds? No. Not at all. You can adjust and shape and change the way your vocal tract is working as you're singing and come up with different kind of sounds and throw in different textures and approaches to the voice. But what your unique you sound is the sound that feels the easiest for you to produce. And then all you need to do is start to put that within the context of a song. So if normally you end up singing, happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, and everything feels very strained and kind of labored and you're running out of air and you're kind of gasping for air, then adjust to try to speak it out the way that it would feel the easiest. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. That feels pretty easy. So try to find that easiest sound that you can possibly create and go after that sound instead of trying to manipulate and force the sound to be something that it perhaps is not. Once you've practiced with that for a while, then you can always, within the context of a song, adjust and kind of throw in different sounds. But you'll always know that your home base is in that easiest sound to produce. So I hope this clarifies a few things. Let me know if you have any questions about anything about this in the comments down below. Otherwise, I will see you guys in the next video right over here. Click on that one. And oh yeah, click the like button if you like this. But check that one out. You're going to like that video too.